The hour of 12 noon having arrived, the House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeants at Arms, please close the doors of the House. To the members, happy January. It's good to be back. Prayer will be offered by our colleague, Representative Ledbetter. Immediately after prayer, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Members and guests, please rise as able.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, please pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your blessings upon all of us here within this great Commonwealth. Father, for the provisions of safety for our seniors and our youth over the last few days of inclement weather and beyond, Lord. Father, I ask for a special provision of wisdom and patience for all of us as colleagues as we gather under this dome to do the work of the people who elected us. Father, allow us to showcase all of the values that you have entrusted in us so that we may be able to lead in a way that makes you proud. Lord, thank you for everything. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance. Sergeant at Arms will open the doors of the House. Members and guests, please take your seats. Without objection, the approval of the Journal from Wednesday, December the 17th, 2025 will be postponed until printed. The following journals are in print and without objection will be approved. Monday, June 23rd, Tuesday, June 24th, Wednesday, June 25th, Thursday, June 26th, Monday, June 30th, Tuesday, July 1st, Wednesday, July the 2nd, Monday, July 7th, Tuesday, July 8th. Colleagues, if you can take your seats, we have some guests here today for our first day of legislative session in 2026. Colleagues, if you could take your seats. Our colleague that serves Cumberland County, Representative Delosier, has a special guest here. As a guest page, we welcome to the floor of the House, Nick Silkos. Nick is a student at the West Shore Christian Academy and is a guest page today. Nick is a member of the class of 2026. Welcome, Nick. Congratulations. So glad to have you. It's the chair's honor to welcome the Pennsylvania House Legislative Fellows and the House Archives interns who are here for the spring 2026 semester. This program began 44 years ago in 1982, and it's administered by the Bipartisan Management Committee and the Office of the Chief Clerk. Today we have, seated to the left of the speaker's rostrum, Jonathan Carnesi, a Penn State student who's assigned to the House Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee. Fernando Dicio, a Susquehanna University student who's assigned to the House Local Government Committee. Tavon Kerr Hornbaker, a Millersville University student who is assigned to the House Appropriations Committee. Alina Osan, a Penn West Clarion University student who's serving in the Aging Committee, Children and Youth, and Human Services. And we have the House Archives Internship Program students here as well. We have Brianna Fisher, who also attends Penn West Clarion University. Colleagues, let's welcome these students and wish them well as we see them here all spring. Welcome to the floor of the House. In the gallery, and the chair just greeted these students on the floor of the House with a picture a few minutes before we began. Our colleague that serves Montgomery County, Representative Sanchez, brings students from his alma mater, Abington Senior High School, the championship boys soccer team. They had a historic 2025 season. For the first time in school history, they placed first in the PIAA 4A state championship games in November of 2025. Would the Abington Senior High boys soccer team stand so we can congratulate you? Go Ghosts! Joining them, they have their coaches, they have the principal, and they have some other leadership, the athletic director. We are so glad to welcome you this afternoon. Our colleague that serves Center County, Representative Takak, has some folks in the gallery today. We're glad to welcome Davika Patel and Kristen Hillenbrand. Davika is a fourth-year medical student at, pursuing family medicine and obstetrics. She is a leader at the Penn State College of Medicine Healthy Equity Scholars Program, and she is working with local and rural communities through the SCOPE mobile outreach. Kristen is a fourth-year medical student, also studying gynecology, and was previously a health equity scholar and a leader of the Lion Care Clinic. Would Davika and Kristen, these future doctors, please stand? We thank you for your work, especially in rural PA. Welcome to the floor of the House. Our colleague that serves Cumberland County, Representative Kutz, has a guest in the gallery today. We're thrilled to welcome Errol Huffman and his entire family. Errol is being recognized for completing the Eagle Scout Court of Honor. Errol, please stand. We are so proud of you and salute you for this big achievement. Welcome to the floor of the House. Are there requests for leaves of absence? The chair recognizes Majority Whip, who indicates there are none. The chair recognizes the Minority Whip, who indicates there are none. The chair is about to take the master roll call. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? 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 Clerk will record the vote. 199 members having voted. On the master roll call, a quorum is present. The chair recognizes Representative Dawkins, Chair of the Committee on Labor and Industry, who reports the following bill. House Bill 1923, reported as amended. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The chair recognizes Representative Dawkins, Chair of the Committee on Labor and Industry, who reports the following resolution. H.R. 385, reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? Chair recognizes Representative Briggs, Chair of the Committee on Judiciary, who reports the following bills. House Bill 1671, reported as amended. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? House Bill 1750, reported as amended. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? House Bill 2018, reported as committed. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? House Bill 2154, reported as committed. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The chair recognizes Representative Briggs, Chair of the Committee on Judiciary, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 63, reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? H.R. 386, reported as committed. Will the House agree the report? It is agreed to. The chair is in receipt of the following reports, which the clerk will now read.
As required by the Job Enhancement Act of 1996, Section 2706, as amended, a report on tax-exempt bond allocation for the year end of 2025 from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, as required by Act 33 of 1976 from the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency's Debt Obligations 2026 report. In accordance with the Sexual Assault Testing Evidence Collection Act, amended by Act 122 of 2024, the 2025 annual report, Sexual Assault Testing and Evidence Collection Act implementation, prepared by the Pennsylvania State Police, in collaboration with the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency and Pennsylvania Department of Health. In accordance with Section 5723D of the Wiretapping and Electronic Control Act, the 2025 annual report from the Superior Court of Pennsylvania.
Chair is in receipt of the following correspondence, which the clerk will now read.
In accordance with the provisions of Article 8, Section 7(4) of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and Section 304 of the Capital Facilities Debt Enabling Act, a certification in connection with the general bond obligation bond sale of January 21st, 2026 from the Office of the Pennsylvania Auditor General.
The chair has referred the following bills, which the clerk will now read.
Referrals, January 7th, 2026. House Bill 2120 to Commerce. Referrals, January 8th, 2026. House Bill 2117, Education. House Bill 2116, Finance. House Bill 2119, Game and Fisheries. House Resolution 386 and House Bill 2118, both to Judiciary. House Bill 2121, Professional Licensure. House Resolution 384 to State Government. Referrals, January 9th, 2026. House Bill 2127 to Finance. House Resolution 388 to Health. House Bill 2125, Housing Community Development. House Bill 2122, House Bill 2124, House Bill 2126, House Bill 2128, all for the Judiciary. House Bill 2123, Professional Licensure. House Resolution 387, Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development. Referrals, January 12th, 2026. House Bill 2129, Energy. House Bill 2132, Housing and Community Development. House Bill 2115, Judiciary. House Resolution 385, House Bill 2133, House Bill 2135, those three to Labor and Industry. House Bill 2130, Transportation. House Bill 2134, Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness. Referrals, January 13th, 2026. House Bill 2136 to Judiciary. Referrals, January 15th, 2026. House Bill 2145, Consumer Protection, Technology and Utilities. House Resolution 390 to State Government. Referrals, January 20th, 2026. House Bill 2148, House Bill 2149, both to Education. House Bill 2150, House Bill 2151, both to Energy. House Bill 2147, Liquor Control. House Resolution 391 to State Government. House Bill 2144 to Transportation. Referrals, January 21st, 2026. House Resolution 396, House Bill 2152, House Bill 2153, those three to Education. House Resolution 392 to Health. House Resolution 393, Judiciary. House Resolution 394, State Government. House Resolution 395, Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development. Referrals, January 22nd, 2026. House Bill 2154, Judiciary. House Bill 2146 to Local Government. Referrals, January 23rd, 2026. House Bill 2131, Consumer Protection, Technology and Utilities. Referrals, January 26, 2026. House Bill 2159 to Commerce. House Bill 2156, Consumer Protection, Technology and Utilities. House Bill 2157 to Education. House Resolution 399 to Health. House Bill 2155, Housing and Community Development. House Resolution 397, House Resolution 398, House Resolution 400, Intergovernmental Affairs and Operations. House Bill 2158 to Judiciary, House Resolution 401, Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development. Referrals, January 27, 2026. House Resolution 402 to Judiciary. Referrals, January 28, 2026. House Resolution 407, Children and Youth. House Bill 171, House Bill 172, House Resolution 403, Consumer Protection, Technology and Utilities. House Bill 2167, House Bill 2168, House Bill 2169, those three to Education. House Bill 2161, Environmental and Natural Resource Protection. House Resolution 408, House Bill 2166, both to Finance. House Resolution 404, House Resolution 405, and House Bill 2162, those three to Health. House Bill 2160, Housing and Community Development. House Bill 2164, Human Services, House Bill 2165, Judiciary, House Resolution 406, House Resolution 409, both to State Government, and House Bill 2163 to Professional Licensure.
Chair recognizes the Majority Whip for a caucus announcement. Representative Schlossberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Democrats will caucus at 1 o'clock. We will be prepared to return to the floor at 1:30.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Philadelphia, Representative White, for a caucus announcement.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. House Republicans will be caucusing at 1 o'clock and plan to return to the House floor at 1:30. Again, House Republicans will caucus at 1 o'clock. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Bucks, Representative Warren, for a committee announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Insurance Committee will meet at the first break, immediately at the first break, in Room 60 East Wing to consider House Bill 1718 and any other business that may come before the committee. That's 60 East Wing, immediately at the break. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Philadelphia for a committee announcement. Representative Young.
House Appropriations Committee will meet immediately in the Majority Caucus Room at first break. All Appropriation Committee members, please report to the Majority Caucus Room at first break for a committee meeting.
Colleagues, our final guest has arrived. We are so excited that our colleague that serves York, Representative Fink, has a special guest in the gallery. We are thrilled to welcome Park Weicker. Park is a leadership coach, mentor, and consultant with colleagues. We have Representative Fink's guest, Park Weicker. Park is a coach, mentor, and consultant with 30 years experience in tech, entrepreneurship, and executive leadership. Park is also a Navy veteran, attended college in Arizona, and came back to the Central Pennsylvania region to start his first tech company. But his work as a volunteer in SCORE and other coaching and consulting compelled him to serve and train leaders in our area and beyond. His work has taken him to the continent of Africa, where he plays a key role in advancing a trash-to-energy project that embodies innovation, resilience, and purpose-driven impact. Park, where are you? Please stand. We're so proud of you. Welcome to the floor of the House. The House will stand in recess until 1:30 p.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker.
May I have your attention, please? Recess for the House has been extended until 1:45. I repeat, recess for the House has been extended until 1:45.
The hour of 1:45 having arrived, the House will come to order. Chair recognizes Representative Harris, Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, who reports the following bills. House Bill 331, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? House Bill 348, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? House Bill 1129, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? House Bill 1304, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? House Bill 1525, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? House Bill 1526, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? Senate Bill 327, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? Chair recognizes Representative Warren, Chair of the Committee on Insurance, who reports the following bill. House Bill 1718, reported as amended. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up House Bill 1909, printers number 2595 on page 4 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill enhances the grading of certain criminal offenses committed during a violation of a protection from abuse order.
Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up Senate Bill 1036, printers number 1349 on page 5 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill consolidates the first-class township code into Title 73.
Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up House Bill 660, printers number 0995 on page 1 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides for minimum energy and water efficiency standards for certain products sold in this Commonwealth.
Will the House agree to the bill? Representative Heffley moves to suspend the rules for the purpose of offering A02367. The question is, will the House suspend its rules? Members are reminded that pursuant to Rule 77, the motion to suspend is only debatable by the leaders, the maker of the motion, the maker of the amendment under consideration, and the prime sponsor of the bill under consideration. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Carbon, Representative Heffley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, as stated, I make a motion to suspend the rules for the consideration of Amendment A02367. This amendment is directly relevant to the bill and would definitely enhance the underlying bill and make much needed improvement to it. And I would request an affirmative vote on suspension of the rules so we can debate the merits of the bill, which I dub the right to grill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from the Lehigh, Representative Schlossberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is not an agreed to amendment, and I ask the members for a negative vote.
All those in favor of suspending the rules will be voting aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. On the question, the yeas are 98. The nays are 101. Less than a two-third majority having voted in the affirmative, the motion fails. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? Colleagues, we have some special guests here for afternoon session. Seated to the left of the speaker's rostrum, we are joined by some tremendous members of the team in York County who work alongside our colleague, Representative Hill Evans. We have our Campbell Eckenrode and Jesus Berrios Sanchez. Campbell is a student at Millersville studying political science, minoring in sustainable studies, and will graduate this year. Jesus is serving as a bilingual constituent service advisor. And we have Rosie didn't make it. Okay, that's fine. Well, we're so glad to welcome Jesus and Campbell. Please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House. Bienvenidos. Colleagues, the House floor rolling system is down, but the chair will provide extra time as needed for members to go to legis.state.pa.us to look up the bills for which we have on our afternoon calendar. And if the members need additional time, it will be granted. That's again, legis.state.pa.us if you would like to view every individual bill for which is on our afternoon calendar. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1738, printers number 2544 on page 5 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill amends the Borough Code and third-class City Code to authorize such municipalities to establish memorials honoring first responders.
Will the House agree to the bill? The chair rules the following amendments out of order for violating House Rule 20. Amendment A02099, A02100, A02101, A02102. For what purpose does the gentleman rise? Representative Bernstein.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to appeal the ruling of the chair on A02102.
The gentleman, Representative Bernstein, appeals the ruling of the chair that A02102 violates House Rule 20. House Rule 20 provides that no bill shall be passed containing more than one subject. The subject of House Bill 1738 provides for memorials for first responders and members of the armed forces. The amendment A02102 adds a second subject to the bill by providing for lobbying activities. Shall the decision of the chair stand as the judgment of the House? On that question, the chair recognizes the maker of the motion, the maker of the amendment, Representative Bernstein.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Amendment 02102 prohibits the county of a second class through eighth, a third-class city and a borough from using public, private, or other funds to hire or contract a lobbyist. This bill specifically deals with municipalities, as is Madam Speaker, this amendment deals with municipalities, as does the underlying bill. As a result, I would request that the members vote to overrule the chair. This specific piece of legislation, or this specific amendment, would ensure that we do not spend money on taxpayer money in order to use it for lobbying purposes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Those in favor of sustaining the chair's decision will be voting aye. Those opposed will be voting no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. The yeas are 100, the nays are 99. Less than the majority of the members elected having voted in the negative, the decision of the chair stands as the judgment of the House. Will the House agree to the bill it's agreed to? The chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 331, Printers number 2718 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill provides for surcharge.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, the Chair recognizes the maker of the bill, Majority Chair of Judiciary, the gentleman from Montgomery County, Representative Briggs.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to urge the members to vote yes on House Bill 331. As you recall, in December, we got together unanimously to amend this bill pretty drastically, 203 to 0. Madam Speaker, this bill will accomplish 3 things. It'll support our magisterial district judges' education and training program. It will ensure our courts can continue to provide essential judicial service and provides funding for legal aid. Each of these issues is critical to our legal system and our communities and deserves our support. Since moving this bill in December, we have received overwhelming support for the bill, including support from the Pennsylvania Association for Justice, the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police, the Special Court Judges Association of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Bar Association, Legal Aid Network, and the Pennsylvania District Attorney's Office, just to name a few. Please vote yes on House Bill 331. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Chair thanks the maker of the bill. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 147. The nays are 52. The majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will return the same to the Senate for concurrence. The Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 348, printers number 0303 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill requires a notice to a resident of a nursing home of their right to hire an attorney to apply for Medicaid.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, the Chair recognizes the maker of the bill, the gentleman from Mercer, Representative Bonner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 70% of all adults in Pennsylvania over the age of 65 years will spend some time in a nursing home. The average cost per year for a resident of a nursing home is $130,000 for skilled care. These costs are typically paid by the married couple until they have exhausted most, if not all, of their life savings. However, the law governing the Medicaid program does not require that a family spend all of their assets on nursing home care prior to becoming eligible for Medicaid assistance. With proper guidance, approximately 70% of the value of the home can be protected from a Medicaid lien. The pension, the IRAs, and the Social Security benefits of the at-home spouse also do not have to be spent on nursing home care. 1/2 of all other marital assets, up to $150,000, also do not have to be spent on nursing home care while receiving Medicaid assistance. However, few people entering a nursing home are aware that the law permits them to protect some of their assets and not having to spend them all prior to receiving Medicaid assistance. The problem, however, is that most people going into the nursing home do not know that they don't have to spend all their assets. And by the time they go and see a lawyer, they've already spent those assets because they must affirmatively assert the exemption of these assets. Otherwise, they will spend them all before becoming eligible for Medicaid assistance. When an individual goes into the nursing home, they typically rely on the nursing home employees to fill out the application for financial spending and benefits from third parties. And the people in the nursing home either do not know that the Medicaid law does not require that all assets do not have to be spent on nursing home care before becoming eligible for Medicaid assistance. Or if they do know, they don't tell the people, you don't have to spend all of your money on the nursing home before becoming eligible for Medicaid assistance. And part of the process for qualifying these assets is the need of an attorney to draft deeds and trusts. And the nursing home people are not permitted to engage in that activity. Now, on January 23, we all received a recent statement from a lobbyist group sent to all House members criticizing this bill, stating that the nursing homes are financially better off if the patient who's coming into the nursing home is not aware of their rights. That's a very disturbing statement to hear from the representative for the nursing home. Basically saying, don't tell people about their rights when they're coming into the nursing home. And that's because the nursing home will get a much higher pay if the people spend all of their money rather than qualifying for Medicaid assistance. The Medicaid program then, by its very terms, by the law enacted at the federal and state level, does not require a family to spend all of their assets on nursing home care before receiving Medicaid benefits. The nursing home lobbyist is basically saying, let's keep the people in the dark about their rights. Because if they assert their rights and protect some of their assets, not all of them, but some of their assets, the nursing homes will be hurt. So we don't want to advise these people of their rights as they're coming into the nursing home. Because even though that would be good for our citizens, it's not good for the clients of the lobbyist group. The position then of the lobbyist group to keep people in the dark is disturbing. The law should always have the light shined upon it. And the law is there, and it's meant to protect people from spending all of their assets on the nursing home. Our people do not have to go bankrupt when they go into a nursing home. The law says you are permitted to retain a portion of your assets. Not all of the assets, but a portion of those assets. The nursing home lobbyist also says that if we advise people of their rights as they're coming into the nursing home, that will cause delay in the process of being admitted and stress on the family. Again, a very misleading statement. When someone comes into a nursing home, they make their initial application, they have 90 days to seek information about whether they want to pursue Medicaid assistance or spend all of their assets. But the people are not being told that. And therefore, they are signing these applications that commit them to pay all of their assets to the nursing home upon admission. And that is wrong, because the people are not being apprised of their legal rights. In fact, what is the true stress on the family as they're making application to the nursing home is the fact that they're being told, you gotta spend all your money, you gotta spend all your assets, when in fact they don't. That's what's causing the stress on the families as they are facing financial disaster coming into the nursing home. And you know the family groups that are most suffering from this are the low and middle income people, because they're the ones who can't afford the high-priced attorneys years before admission into the nursing home. So they never receive their rights until they go into the nursing home, and the nursing home, by the lobbyist statement, does not want them to be made aware of their rights as they are seeking admission. This legislation then, House Bill 348, will require the nursing home to advise the family that you may want to consult an attorney because there are savings for you if you do some crisis planning as you're entering into the nursing home. You like to see the planning 5 years in advance, but you can still do crisis planning as you're entering the nursing home. And this bill hopefully will guide families to do some crisis planning. This legislation then will greatly assist families to seek out information in this 90-day period as to what assets they can protect for their loved ones as they're entering the nursing home. You know, when an individual is arrested for a crime, the law says they must be advised of their rights. Shouldn't the same apply when a family is in a crisis seeking admission to a nursing home? Shouldn't they at least be made aware of the right that they can protect some of their assets? Not all of them, but some of those assets. The members of this august body passed this very legislation last session unanimously. And I would again ask your consent to pass this legislation so we don't intentionally decide to keep our citizens in the dark, as the lobbyist group suggests. They suggest don't tell them of their rights. This legislation says make them aware of their rights, just like we make criminals aware of their rights. Don't keep our people in the dark when they're facing a financial crisis. Shed the light upon this very troublesome time in their lives as they enter their final years. Give them some hope, some reason to believe that they are not going to go bankrupt. Pass House Bill 348 to protect the citizens of this Commonwealth. Thank you.
Chair thanks the maker of the bill. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 199, the nays are 0. Majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1129, printers number 2065 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? Clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill establishes a net operating loss exchange.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, the chair recognizes the maker of the bill, the gentleman from Chester County, Representative Friel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask for my colleagues to support House Bill 1129, which is fundamentally a jobs bill. This just creates an opportunity for our startup businesses and the investments here in Pennsylvania to stay in Pennsylvania. I really want to thank my co-sponsor from Wayne County, Representative Fritz, for his help in this. It's been invaluable, and I will submit the rest of my comments for the record.
Chair thanks the maker of the bill. On that question, chair recognizes the gentleman from Wayne, Representative Fritz.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, and Happy New Year to my colleagues. It is good to be back and conducting the people's business. And along those lines, I am proud to stand and support this quality piece of legislation, House Bill 1129. And Madam Speaker, colleagues, I want to mention that this is supported by trusted Pennsylvania voices in Pennsylvania, such as the Chamber and the NFIB. And really the focus is reversing brain drain, making Pennsylvania more competitive, showing people that we are open for business. And I kindly and respectfully ask for everyone's affirmative vote. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 198, the nays are 1. The majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader, calls up House Bill 1304, printers number 1498 on page 3 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill changes the due date for the State Employees Retirement System and the Public School Employees Retirement System annual stress test.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 199, the nays are 0. Majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1525, printers number 2542 on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill requires all owners and operators of pipelines transporting steam located in public rights-of-ways to register their assets with the Pennsylvania one-call system.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, Chair recognizes the maker of the bill, the gentlelady from Berks, Representative Cepeda Freitas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, I rise in support of House Bill 1525. This bill is deeply personal to me and my district. On March 24th, 2023, just a few months into my first term as a legislator, an explosion ripped through the R.M. Palmer chocolate factory in West Reading in my district. That explosion took 7 lives. 7 people who went to work that morning and never came home. I was nearby that day at the Hispanic Center across the Penn Street Bridge. I felt the blast shake the building.
The gentlelady will suspend. The House will come to order. Members, please take your conversations off the floor of the House. Please let the member be heard talking about a very sensitive topic at this time for House Bill 1525 and its final passage. The gentlelady will continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I mentioned, I felt the blast shake the building. In fact, the building shook so violently, it felt like a truck had crushed through the doors. I ran outside. I saw the smoke filling the air. I heard and watched emergency vehicles and fire trucks racing across the bridge towards the scene. That moment is something I will never forget. In the days, weeks, and months that followed, our community grieved and our families mourned. And we continue to ask the hard question: how did this happen? And then, how do I, as a legislator, make sure it never happens again? After the tragedy, the National Transportation Safety Board investigated and found that a degraded natural gas connection combined with aging and undocumented infrastructure played a role. That includes utility lines that were never properly registered or mapped. House Bill 1525 addresses that exact problem. It strengthens Pennsylvania's one-call or 811 system by ensuring underground utility lines, including older steam lines, are properly registered and accounted for. If we don't know what's underground, we cannot prevent accidents. And when excavation or infrastructure work happens near undocumented lines, the risk to workers, buildings, and entire neighborhoods can be catastrophic. House Bill 1525 is about knowledge, coordination, and prevention. It builds on a system that already exists and improves it so that utility workers, contractors, and first responders are not operating blindly. Furthermore, it's a common sense safety measure. It is not partisan. And it does not place an unreasonable burden on small businesses. It places the responsibility where it belongs, on utility operators. I ask you vote yes on House Bill 1525 so we can close this safety gap and prevent another tragedy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the maker of the bill. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 183, the nays are 16. Majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will return the same to the Senate for concurrence. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1526, printer's number 2719, on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? Clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill requires natural gas companies in the state to develop degraded pipeline prevention plans.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, Chair recognizes the maker of the bill, the gentlelady from Berks, Representative Cepeda Freitas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1526 is yet another bill I introduced due to the tragedy that occurred in my district almost 3 years ago on March 24th, 2023. A tragedy that took 7 lives due to infrastructure failure. House Bill 1526 requires the Public Utility Commission and natural gas utilities to identify degrading pipelines and develop plans to repair or replace them before they fail. Again, this bill is about prevention, accountability, and planning, not waiting for the next explosion to force action. It requires utilities to take a hard look at aging infrastructure and act accordingly and responsibly. House Bill 1526 reflects what Pennsylvanians expect from us, that we learn from loss, that we listen to experts, and that we take reasonable steps to protect public safety. I stood in the aftermath of the devastation. The 7 families in my district deserve more than condolences. They deserve action. We cannot undo what happened at R.M. Palmer that day, but we can honor those lives by making sure it never happens again. I respectfully ask for an affirmative vote on House Bill 1526. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, colleagues.
Chair thanks the maker of the bill. On that question, Chair recognizes the gentleman from Berks, Representative Guzman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I rise in support of House Bill 1526. I rise to speak in support, thinking of my father, Manuel Guzman Sr., who was actually working in the building that fateful day. Colleagues, let me tell you what it was like that day to not know whether or not your father was in a building that blew up through no causes of his own. I spent a good hour frantically trying to call his cell phone, unable to reach him.
The gentleman will be heard. The gentleman is in order and may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I desperately tried to call my father throughout that time and getting an endless tone and getting straight to his voicemail, I'll be honest with you all and with the community at large that I was scared. I was scared not knowing whether or not my father, who had worked at R.M. Palmer for 25 years, and many of you know I speak of my father a lot on this House floor, an immigrant who came to this country not knowing any English, became a United States citizen, a hard-working, tax-paying Pennsylvanian, working at R.M. Palmer for 25 years, working to support his immigrant family and his immigrant son who stands before you here today. As I desperately tried to call my father and desperately tried to reach him, it took about 3 hours, Madam Speaker, before I was able to finally get a hold of my father. Thankfully, he wasn't in the building at that time, but unfortunately, many of his friends, many of his personal friends that he knew, passed away that day. One lady whom he worked with for 10 years burned in a chocolate tank. That was her fate. An immigrant, just like my father, just trying to make the world a better place, a tax-paying Pennsylvanian who just went to work that day to put food on the table and keep a roof over their families' heads. Thankfully, as I said, my father was able to survive that day, but unfortunately, he hasn't been able to survive the nightmares that have come afterwards. Because since that day, my father has not returned to work. On a daily basis, he runs and he faces PTSD, thinking of his friends that worked for him for so long and now no longer are here with us. And you see, it's interesting because we're talking about this incident, this explosion, and yet the company itself, of which my father was a hard worker of 25 years, fought my father every step of the way. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it if it was your own mom or dad, friend or family, brother or son, who gave their life to a company for 25 plus years, only for that said company to fight your PTSD and your workman's comp. That's a fate that I know my father is not unique in facing that in terms of those barriers. But I just wanted to just say it to you all that this is real. These are real horrors that not only my father is facing, but the families themselves that unfortunately lost their loved ones that day. And so for those individuals who lost their loved ones, and to my father, Papi, I love you. You did everything that you could, and I thank you for everything that you have done. To those that we have lost, we remember you, we remember your sacrifices, and we remember you as proud Pennsylvanians. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. On final passage of the bill, the yeas are 110, the nays are 89. Majority required by the Constitution have been voted in the affirmative. The bill passes the House finally. Clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up Senate Bill 327, printer's number 1360 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? Clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill provides for automatic certification.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, the chair recognizes the gentleman from Montgomery County, Majority Chair of Judiciary, Representative Briggs.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask the members to support Senate Bill 327. This bill authorizes MOPAC to assign Act 120 certification numbers to eligible Fort Indiantown Gap police officers, as well as with the amended the Public School Code to require state system of higher education campus police to be certified under the municipal training program. Madam Speaker, this bill unanimously passed the Senate and the House Judiciary Committee, and I urge a yes vote. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. On final passage of the bill, the yeas are 199, the nays are 0. Majority required by the Constitution have been voted in the affirmative. The bill passes finally. Clerk will present the same to the Senate with the information that the House has passed the bill with amendment in which the concurrence of the Senate is requested. Colleagues, our colleague from Westmoreland, Representative Nelson, has a special announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a shout out to our kid number 3, Liberty Marie, for her 23rd birthday today. So we love you, Liberty. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Happy 23rd birthday, Liberty. For the information of the members, there will be no further votes. Colleagues, be very careful on your way to your various districts. Chairs in receipt of a letter of resignation from the Representative Seth Grove, which the clerk will now read.
The Honorable Joanna McClinton. Dear Madam Speaker, it has been an honor to represent the people of the 196th Pennsylvania House District in York County. Please accept this letter as my official notice that I am resigning my House seat effective at the end of the day on January 31st, 2026. Sincerely, Seth M. Grove, 196th District.
Chairs in receipt of the following committee on committee report, which the clerk will now read.
January 28, 2026. Resolved that Representative Seth Grove resigns as a member of the Labor and Industry Committee. Representative R. Lee James is elected a member of the Labor and Industry Committee and is appointed chairman. Representative R. Lee James resigns as a member of the Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development Committee. Representative Ryan Warner is elected as a member of the Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development Committee and is appointed chairman. Representative Ryan Warner resigns as a member of the Appropriations Committee. Representative Chad Reichard is elected a member of the Appropriations Committee. Respectfully submitted, Tina Pickett, Chair, Committee on Committees.
Majority Leader moves that the following bills be recommitted to the Committee on Appropriations. House Bill 660, House Bill 1738, House Bill 1909, Senate Bill 1036. Majority Leader moves that the following bills be removed from the table calendar and be placed on the active calendar. House Bill 144, House Bill 886, House Bill 1556, House Bill 1935, House Bill 1963. The chair is in receipt of a motion by the gentleman from Wayne County, Representative Fritz, that the House now adjourn until Monday, February the 2nd, 2026 at 12 noon, unless sooner recalled by the Speaker. Questions on the motion? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The House stands adjourned until Monday, February the 2nd, 2026 at 12 noon, unless sooner recalled by the Speaker.